You turn 30 and something shifts. Not in your body, not really, but somewhere in your mind, a clock starts ticking louder than it ever has before. Suddenly, everything feels urgent. You look at your career, your relationships, your bank account, and a voice in your head whispers, "You should be further by now." But here's what nobody tells you about turning 30. That voice? It's not yours. And the feeling that you're running out of time? It's one of the biggest lies your brain has ever told you. Let's start with history, because the meaning of 30 has changed more than you think. In ancient Rome, the average lifespan was around 35 years. If you made it to 30, you were essentially an elder. You'd already fought in wars, raised children, and probably held some form of political or community leadership. At 30, you weren't starting your life. You were reviewing it. In medieval Europe, the guild system meant that by 30, you were a master craftsman. You'd spent over a decade as an apprentice, then a journeyman, and by your late 20s, you were teaching the next generation. Your identity was settled. Your role was clear. Even as recently as the 1950s, the average American bought their first home at 22 and got married at 20. By 30, you had a house, a career, 2 kids, and a lawn to mow. The script was written before you were born. All you had to do was follow it. But now you're 30, and you might still be figuring out what you want to do for a living. You might be on your 3rd career. You might not own property. You might be single. And the world keeps telling you you're behind. But behind what? Behind a timeline that was designed for a world that no longer exists. Now let's talk about biology, because your body is telling a very different story than your mind. Most people believe that you start declining at 30, that your best years are behind you, that it's all downhill from here. This is one of the most persistent myths in modern culture, and it's almost entirely wrong. Yes, your raw processing speed peaks around 18 to 20. You will never react to a video game faster than a teenager. But here's what nobody mentions. Almost every other cognitive ability continues to improve well past 30. Your vocabulary and accumulated knowledge don't peak until your 60s or 70s. Your emotional regulation, your ability to manage stress, read people, and make calm decisions under pressure improves dramatically between 25 and 35. Your pattern recognition, the ability to see connections that others miss, peaks in your 40s and 50s. And here's the part that should change everything. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control, doesn't finish developing until your mid-20s. The myelination process, which insulates your neural pathways and makes thinking faster and more efficient, completes around age 25 to 30. Read that again. Your brain literally just finished being built. You're not declining at 30, you're just getting started with a fully operational mind for the first time in your life. So if your body isn't actually declining and your brain is still improving, why do you feel so old at 30? One word: comparison. In 1990, a 30-year-old compared themselves to maybe 5 people. Their neighbors, their co-workers, their siblings. That was your entire reference pool. And most of those people were doing roughly the same things as you. In 2024, a 30-year-old compares themselves to 10,000 people before breakfast. Your phone shows you a curated highlight reel of the most exceptional moments from the most exceptional lives on Earth, and presents it as normal. Someone bought a house at 27. Someone else got promoted to VP at 29. Someone just got engaged with a ring that costs more than your car. And before you've even finished your coffee, your brain has already run the numbers and concluded you're behind. But you're not comparing yourself to reality. You're comparing yourself to a performance. Studies show that people post their top 1% of experiences online. The other 99%, the doubt, the debt, the loneliness, the nights they cried in the bathroom, never makes it to the feed. And your brain doesn't know the difference. It processes every success post as evidence that you're failing. It triggers the same stress response as being outranked in a tribe, because evolutionarily, falling behind the group meant danger. Your brain treats an Instagram post from a stranger the same way it would treat being the weakest member of a hunting party 100,000 years ago. The algorithm knows this. It feeds you content that triggers insecurity because insecurity keeps you scrolling. Your feeling of being behind at 30 isn't an insight, it's a product. There's a hidden script that most of us follow without even realizing it. Graduate by 22. Land a career by 24. Find a partner by 26. Buy a house by 28. Have kids by 30. But where did this timeline come from? Who wrote it? The answer is a post-war economy that no longer exists. These milestones were designed for a world where houses cost 2 years' salary, where one income supported a family, and where you worked the same job for 40 years and retired with a pension. That world is gone, but the checklist survived. And now, you're measuring yourself against deadlines that were set by a society that looks nothing like the one you live in. And here's what the checklist never tells you. Alan Rickman didn't land his first movie role until he was 46. Vera Wang didn't design her first dress until 40. Colonel Sanders started KFC at 65. Van Gogh didn't start painting seriously until 27 and created his most iconic works after 35. Julia Child published her first cookbook at 50. The most interesting people in history didn't follow the checklist. They burned it. There's a concept in psychology called the two mountains theory. And it might be the most important thing you hear today. The first mountain is the one everyone climbs in their 20s. It's the mountain of resume virtues. The degree, the job title, the relationship status, the apartment. You climb because society told you to. And by 30, you either made it to the top and realized it doesn't feel like you expected, or you're somewhere on the slope, wondering why you're not higher. Either way, around 30, many people end up in the valley. And the valley feels like failure. It feels like you wasted your 20s, like you're behind, like everyone else is still climbing and you somehow fell off. But here's the twist. The valley isn't a failure, it's a transition, because there's a second mountain. And the second mountain isn't about resume virtues. It's about what David Brooks calls eulogy virtues. The things people say about you when you're gone. Not what you achieved, but how you loved. Not your job title, but your character. Not your Instagram, but your impact. And the second mountain, the meaningful one, the one that actually makes you feel alive, almost always starts in your 30s, because you can't climb it until you've seen through the first one. That feeling of being lost at 30, it's not the end of something. It's the beginning of the part that actually matters. So if you're turning 30, or you've already turned 30 and you feel like you're running out of time, I want you to consider this. Your brain just finished being built. Your emotional intelligence is entering its prime. Your ability to see patterns, make decisions, and create meaningful work is about to peak, and it will keep improving for decades. The checklist you think you're failing? It was written for a world that disappeared before you were born. The people you're comparing yourself to? You're seeing their highlight reel and comparing it to your behind the scenes. You are not old at 30. You are not behind. You are not running out of time. You're standing at the base of the second mountain. And everything that matters, everything that will actually define your life, is still ahead of you. This is Pyrgo. If this changed how you see your own timeline, subscribe. I make videos like this every week, exploring the psychology, history, and science behind the things you feel but can't explain. I'll see you in the next one.